All right, so we're going to do this breakdown. I first want to put us in the same, in the right mentality to grow. I think a lot of times, like if players aren't playing as much or whatever, they tend to take the victim route instead of thinking, "Oh man, I have tendencies and maybe they're not good." So what's going to happen is, as we look at some of these videos, you'll see some of the things that you probably never thought about that you're actually being judged on. So since your mind can't go there, you assume that it's favoritism or something like that. So as we watch, I think the mentality needs to be, okay, hey, what tendencies do I have that coach is saying that he doesn't like? You need to put yourself in a position to ask more questions as to why things are happening instead of assuming you know why. So like, let's jump right into it. We have a bunch of little clips. So right here, I can tell on pick and roll, Fallon is looking at these two guys, and this is the rotating defender that he needs to look at. So since he's not looking at the rotating defender, he's going to throw a turnover because Luke can't do anything with that, even if he catches the ball. So just make sure, Fallon, when you're coming off the screen, you're looking below you and not just at the current play when you're doing this. All right, and another thing is looking where your eyes go. This is good here. Good retreat by Blaze. Get space. Now, Johnny, when you catch the ball, you don't want to turn your back to jump traps, and you don't want to face the baseline anyway because you won't see. So you want to face up. But ball pressure allows them to dictate where you go because there's ball pressure. You just turn and spin, and now you don't know the trap is coming. So the guy peels off a Blaze's man, and like I said, where your eyes go is going to tell you a lot, about players. So make sure you face up so you can see the trap coming, and that'll make dealing with that a lot easier. All right, right here. Number one, try to stay out the air, Johnny. I don't think you needed to jump to make that pass. I just think while the ball was in the air, you could just take a step backwards so you wouldn't have to jump. So you don't want to spend time in the air. But really, more important than that is you don't want to dribble right when you catch the ball unless you're attacking. All right, so you catch the ball. There's no real reason to dribble yet. And then once you dribble, you see that ref? That's his count number one right there. If you weren't dribbling, then he'd be counting. But then as soon as you dribble, he would switch hands. So because you started your count, you literally only get 5 seconds with the ball. So now he's counting 3, 4, 5, and you get a 5 second call because of that. So when you dribble, you didn't go anywhere. So make sure when you dribble, it's because you want to go somewhere. And everybody knows, oh, sorry about that. Everybody knows this saying, when once you take a dribble, you become a worse passer and a worse shooter. So don't do that to yourself. All right, right here. This is a good read by Nico because they peel off. This guy peels off the trap, and I could tell Nico's looking because he hasn't dribbled yet. So he's able to make a good read and become a better passer. This is the rotating defender. All right, if you're not thinking about the rotating defender, you'll throw it to Stedman, but he skips it to Blaze, which is good. And one more thing, just because I said in the last video, watch Blaze because the pass is further back. Watch him kind of step backwards. It's back, so he steps it back so he doesn't have to jump at the ball. So now he can focus more on what read he's going to make. So he reads the closeout. Now, Blaze, this is where you got to get better. You read rotating defenders when you haven't dribbled yet and break things down in layers. All right. So if the first level is reading your on ball defender, then the second level is reading the help side defender. Now the third level is reading rotating defenders. This is the rotating defender. That ball needs to go to Fallon. All right. And you throw it to Carroll, and that's why they get a deflection. So instead of us getting a layup, like like I said, you're on a deeper part of the reads, but you still got to make the right read so we could have success. All right, this is a good rep by everybody. Now Stedman catches the ball. And you can tell he doesn't dribble, so he's reading and surveying which way should I go, where's the single gap versus double gap, things like that. Now, when he this is a skill that people won't really think about. This guy reaches and watch Stedman's pickup. He picks it up wide. So now, Johnny, you should already be in the corner. If he drives, you should be in the corner. Now that closeout's too far, so you got to space it better. But nonetheless, when we throw it, you get a jab right, and then you get a middle attack. So keep in mind, the first paint touch, Stedman, is the toughest. The second paint touch is a little easier, the one Johnny's on. All right, so just understand that about paint touches. So if you have a good player on your team, you want to allow him to accept the double team, drive and get two people to guard. So now you're playing against a closeout because when Johnny catches this is not a balanced defender. He's running at him, jab, and this is skilled. Pick up a high pickup above his head, Johnny. All right. Then you get we get a shot at the rim. It doesn't go in, but I think it's about quality of shot. So you taking that is good with me. All right. And it's plays like this, like right here, Carol. Get a block, you get the rebound. You didn't even look at the rim. I think like right now, the only one between you and the rim is Fallon. And then you immediately throw it out to the perimeter. So you throw it from 2 feet from the rim to 22 feet from the rim, and it ends up being a turnover. So remember, the decision is more important than the skill. So whatever decisions you make, that's really what you're being graded on. And you got to realize that even if things turn out good or bad, you being consistent requires you making good decisions consistently. So on that one, we need a shot at the rim, and now it's a fast break. All right, this one happens a lot for you, Luke. Like when you're in open, you're forgetting. Like, let's say you weren't supposed to be the screener, but you see that we're in open. So looking around, it means you are the screener. So you got to be thinking, I got to pop out. So when Blaze comes off this screen, he's assuming you're going to pop out. And like when we run open, you're consistently not popping on time. So it's tough for us to run the offense because, like I said, you're not where you need to be when it comes to executing like that play. So like look at some of the film in the past. When you're running open and you're the screener, you're forgetting to do that pop. All right, so here's my issue with us. Like the time where we have time to be in order and do the right thing, we don't. So this is sideline. Look at all the time. They're about to like do almost a full substitution. Why aren't we in sideline? We know this team is pressuring. We have plays for sideline, but we're not in it. So I see Blaze talks to Luke. Hey Luke, get back over here. And then it's supposed to be Nico below Luke. Like nobody's talking. So now both of you guys pop. And now Luke's at the point. He's supposed to be screening for Nico to run back and run point. So now, are we going to run anything? I think we're in open right now. So as soon as Luke throws it, he's the screener, him and Stedman, because we know Nico and Fallon aren't going to be the screeners. So it's Stedman and Luke. And Luke, you forget the play again. So we're supposed to be running open. And Blaze, like, you got to be more comfortable with the ball in that situation. If somebody's not in the right spot, that don't mean you get to turn it over. So now they're on a fast break, but mainly it's because of execution. All right. We had a chance to run sideline and get in order. We didn't talk to communicate. And then we just run a random play, ran open. Then we forget the play. We just can't consistently do stuff like that. Somebody's got to lead. Right. And right here, I want you guys to think about like this is a play y'all could have ate off of. And the reason we're watching on video is because I want you guys to realize in real time, like, hey, coach, hey, maybe we should get in Barkley. They're double teaming Barkley on purpose. We'll get a wide open shot. So we get the ball to Blaze in a Barkley. Now, I don't like that position because you got to watch for people coming behind you in front. There's a reason why we run Barkley's further down on the baseline. All right. So we got poor spacing. So now Blaze can never get comfortable because he doesn't know where guys are. But your man is a help side man, Fallon, and you fall in love with threes. You got to learn to run the space. I would run straight here. Let me show you why. So if you run straight there, this guy would have to guard you. And then Stedman would be wide open for a three. All right, but you'd have to do that immediately. But even if you don't and you want to shoot a three, Blaze, you got to get off that ball quicker, but right here. This guy comes behind you and steals it. And because of the position you're in, I'd rather you just get rid of the ball, throw it to Stedman. Because it's two men on the ball. It's a pass. He'll guard Stedman, pass, and then we'd have a three. All right. So to me, Fallon, your cut was just way too late to be effective. So it got to be on time. But lo and behold, once we see this happen, yes, it's a mistake, but that's also something we can use the rest of the game to say, hey, if they're going to trap Blaze down there, let's just get a pass and a wide open three. All right, and we do it a few possessions later where we do get him in a Barkley. He is lower where he needs to be, but now the spacing is bad. If we throw it to Nico, this guy can guard both of you. Luke, you got to be all the way in the corner. And then if Blaze throws it there, then you'd be wide open for a catch and shoot three. But we hold it too long, it gets deflected. All right, but just know that would work because they're double teaming down on the block, so y'all could get wide open shots off of that. Now here's the other thing: we're gonna start getting into running into space. Luke, your man just finished helping. You should be sprinting to this block for a layup instead of staying out there wide for a three. So now we skip it all the way to you for a catch and shoot three when really I want to shoot layups. Like you see all that space right there? That's where he should have been throwing to. And right now, we kind of have this force field as a team where everybody wants to shoot threes and there's no pressure for paint touches or at the rim. Not nearly as consistent as I'd like. So we're going to get into running into two space now. All right, so this is kind of what I was telling Luke earlier about popping. So now Blaze is the screener. And you see, as soon as he gets trapped, Blaze starts retreating to the level of Nico away from the rotating defenders. So he keeps retreating back, back, back. So now that run was too far for it to be a steal. So that's what I meant on that last one. Look, you got to pop out here and don't stay down here. Anyway, this guy goes for, or we rip, we go for a steal. As you have to assume, Luke, that your guy's going to help as Blaze drives, and you got to get all the way in the corner to make the closeout further for you. All right. And he helps just a little bit. And right here, this is should be, if you were in the corner, it'd be a split stance for a baseline drive, for a layup, or pass to Fallon. So that needs to be a split stance. So I feel like to me, that's a lost opportunity based off spacing and based off being able to split stance. So we had to just sacrifice that opportunity after Blaze got two on the ball. So we got to read that and know that matters. All right, so Johnny, you kind of run to bad space. So there's a reason this guy's more on this side. He's trying to send you to the sideline so he could create a trap. And right now, as soon as you cross that half court line, you create extra defenders. And so you're eating the bait, right? Don't take the bait. So now once they get you in the corner, because you still don't have to cross yet and allow this to be a extra defender. Now it's kind of over. Like you're definitely gonna turn it over. So you gotta read beyond the guy that's in front of you. And then you got to think, what is he trying to get me to do? Is he sending me here for a reason? All right. So start understanding there's good space and there's bad space. You ran the bad space. That's the coffin corner. All right. So Fallon, this is something you kind of consistently get wrong. And this is so you want to create triangles. So as soon as you saw Luke's man peel off, you have to run up here to make this next pass easy to create a triangle. All right, so Luke runs middle, which is what he's supposed to do. We got a guy here, but you're way back here, and it can't be Blaze that runs it because he's the furthest guy. So as soon as you see that, you got to be running up here to create a passing lane. As soon as you don't do this, this can become a team turnover instead of Nico's turnover because of placement of players. All right, so he still gets it to Luke because Luke flashed, but now Luke, you got to play the game way quicker too, like a point 0.5 decision, and you're just holding too long as if they're not going to rotate. So get balanced, all right, and get balanced much quicker. It falls in our lap, but hey, we don't. That's fool's gold. Just because Blaze got fouled there, we know we didn't get any of that on purpose. All right, and this is a good play, but these are the possessions that we just have to make good things happen. We get a paint touch, pass, pass. That's got to be a quick read right there, Stedman, to attack. And because you're just looking at Fallon, not planning to play ahead, then this guy gets balanced. Now you try to attack, and that's just too late. All right, so now we lose the ball because we're not making point 0.5 decisions, whether to drive, shoot, or pass. And all that means you have to like court map better so you can make quicker, faster decisions. Right, and we're showing you all these mistakes so you guys can like have conversations when teams going around. Hey, this is what they're doing on us. We got to make quicker decisions. So everything you're doing isn't bad. So Luke gets trapped. Now this time, Stedman immediately split stance. All right, because we have more on our side, 1, 2, 3, and they only have 2 defenders when you get trapped and get out of it. So now we drive, drop it off to Fallon, cuts the space. That's a good rep. The problem is we're not consistent. We don't understand that, hey, like, here's another idea. You could get to the point where you get somebody taller, like Blaze or somebody, to accept the trap, pass, and you'll shoot a wide open shot on the weak side like that almost every single time if that's how they're going to play it. But you got to know that that's what they're doing, and that's our plan. And another really good play. And again, this happened, but it happened on accident. They're trapping. Reverse pivot, good left-handed pass, Luke. Now we attack space. And wherever the help comes from, so Stedman made his mistake earlier. Here's the good thing about it. In the first quarter, he made the mistake. And ever since then, he's been aggressive against that closeout. So your skill is actually how quickly can I apply and can I learn from a game? You're going to make mistakes, but do you make them 2, 3, 4 times in a row? So now Stedman's downhill. This guy is a guy that helped. So instead of throwing to Keaton, which is correct, he threw it over here. I think that's Johnny. And so now Nico gets a quick jab. And remember, the first paint touch is the toughest one. These are easier. So now he gets a attack to the basket. So, like I said, how do we become consistent? That's the question. All right, so this is a good one to look at. We tried it against the Texas Lions, and it didn't really work because Blaze is probably the better guy on the team at flashing the space. Like as soon as Nico picked it up, Blaze is gonna run the space. Now the problem is making sure like some teams you could do stuff against, and some teams you need the skills to be able to hit a guy on the move or make a clock pass. We'll talk about that in a later video. But because Blaze runs to space, let's block it out again. Like we're not instinctively running there. All right. So he attacks space, and because of that, he's able to get downhill. All right. And now we have numbers and we get fouled. Good things happen when you run the space and make point 0.5 decisions. And keep in mind, this is a point 0.5 decision to read to actually run there. And then to catch it in turn is another point 0.5 decision to attack immediately. So all those don't seem like skills, but they actually are. All right. So just so you guys kind of know, like my thoughts on how like I coach things. And the reason I tell you is just hey, it's something to consider during the game. Is like typically I'll have kind of Nico making the read with the decision with the ball, and we'll flash Blaze to be the attacker, and then the other guys are more the beneficiaries of those good quick decisions. So right here again, Blaze flashes, he drives, and because this man helps, Stedman again cuts to space, and then we get a layup. And again, these are one of those teams that they weren't super disciplined, but it would take us consistently making. Because if you fail at any part of this, like if Nico speed dribbles across half court and gets trapped, none of it works. If Blaze doesn't cut on time as soon as he see these guys run, he doesn't. You know, if it's not a perfect pass, if any parts of this doesn't go wrong, if Stedman doesn't know to cut to space for a layup and he stays at the 3 point line, we probably don't score. So like all these are decisions that have to consistently go right. And so a lot of times players need to find out, hey, is this what I'm missing? Am I the guy that you want to cut to the rim and I'm not doing it? Like let's find out what the actually cause of playing time or how come you're not getting a foul call or whatever it is. You guys' job is to get more information so you can perform better. All right, and let me remind you, like what we're teaching and talking about isn't special. All right, it's just habits that you need to have, and you're only as good as your habits. If your habits, so this is essentially a trap since Fallon had to come so far to help out, right? Because he's normally higher on the top. So they get pass. They get it to the corner. This guy immediately splits stances, attacks space, throws a clock pass, right? So everybody on our team can't throw that pass, all right? But that matters because it gets to him. He has a layup, but when Nico helps out, drop off to the cutter. All right. So what we're doing isn't special. It's just we got to be consistently able to make those plays when we see and receive ball pressure. And for PSAT, if any one of them couldn't make any one of those plays, it's not a bucket. If this guy holds the ball and doesn't know to pass, they don't get those results. All right. So these are things that matter. We throw the ball. They throw the ball there. I think our tendency, depend on personnel, but most of the time, most of us would stay here. And you see this guy sees space, so he cuts to it, and they throw it to where space is. So those are, like I said, I just want to show examples of how the other team is putting pressure on us with things that we need to be able to do. And whoever does the fundamentals the most typically wins the game. All right, another thing to watch out for when people put skilled people in the middle, like some players don't like playing middle because they feel, oh, I'm not a post player, whatever. No, coaches put skilled people in the middle because they know you can attack the zone and they'll make good, quick decisions. So number 10 is their best player. That was a great retreat by them. So they catch the ball middle and he attacks space until two people guard him. And then he plays off two. And guess what we're doing over here? Cutting straight, throw a bounce pass on the move for a layup. So my whole purpose of showing them is they're attacking us by throwing it somewhere, getting two on the ball, and cutting the space. They're not attacking us by staying behind the 3 point line. So like when you play other teams, you got to look at, hey, what's allowing them to be successful? What's allowing us to be successful? And what things do we need to do more of? All right, so hopefully this visual will kind of get everybody seeing the same picture as we get ready for district. So make sure you lock in, watch this multiple times so you'll kind of understand what's being asked of you. And it's not so frustrating when a coach says, hey, come here, sit down, let me talk to you about XYZ. Now you know that it's like, oh, okay, he's trying to help me. When you can take it professionally and not personally, that's what all of us need to be so we can accomplish big things. All right.